Gary Bettendorf is my kind of guy. At age 57, he decided to get into flying, and when he did, he went all in right from the start. He owned 3 airplanes, including this lovely Starduster Too, a Tri-Pacer, and a Cessna 120, and 2 hangars before he soloed any of them.
Okay, so lower the camera and I'll get you like John Denver here. Okay. There's a picture of him on one of his albums in a biplane with a leather.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Gary has been bugging me about going flying with him for a long time, and the day we pick was a good one, almost limitless visibility and no clouds. Oregon's beautiful Willamette Valley is a great place to fly, and Gary is a great guy to fly with. I know this was going to be fun. It takes some effort to squeeze yourself into the front hole of a Starduster, but with Gary's help I managed to pour my slightly overweight body into the confines of the cockpit. To my delight, everything was in the right place. Having a stick in my hand after so many years was a delight. The pedals are wide apart, just like my old bird dog. From this perspective, it looks like there is a clear view to the front over the nose from the front cockpit, but that's because I was holding the camera at the top of the windscreen. As you will see after the engine start, the forward visibility is poor, even from the front. November 22 Tango Fox was built in the 70s, but has less than 800 hours on it. Gary made some necessary changes to the plane, like new landing gear bungees, engine instruments, and an aerobatic prop. It has a 180 horse Lycoming with an inverted fuel and oil system. It looks like the builder stuck exactly to the Stolt plans. There aren't any brakes in the front, so Gary taxied us down to the south end of runway 31. The tailwheel seemed to have good steering authority, as he didn't use much power or braking to turn the airplane. There was a little Cessna waiting to take off, so we pulled up and Gary went through the run-up. Everything seemed fine, so we taxied into position after the Cessna departed. The Starduster's acceleration was brisk. The tail came up immediately, and the plane seemed to leap into the air and climbed as if it were tired of being on the ground and yearned to be back in the sky, just like its passengers. We climbed out toward the northwest and finally turned west and left the traffic area. It was bumpy below 2,000 feet, so we climbed up to 2,500 where things smoothed out nicely. Finally, Gary let me take the controls. I did some steep turns and stalls to get the feel of the old girl. She was a little heavy on the ailerons, but I think that's due to stiffness in the linkage. Elevator movement is very light. The rudder was a little stiff despite the dynamic balance. All the controls have very good authority. The airplane seems totally planted in the air, and the controls are crisp and predictable. The plane seemed to be telling me, "Come on, let's do something fun." So we did. After a few more steep turns, we did a bunch of lazy eights, which progressively got better and better. The plane is so responsive that it's hard not to over-control. A good lazy eight took almost no stick or rudder movement at all. The plane kept saying, "Come on, let me do it. I can fly better than you." Trying to fly and hold the camera at the same time was a bit awkward, so I slipped the camera back to Gary. I had to slide it down by his right pedal, which was next to my right hip, and shove it back toward the rear as far as possible. Finally free of the camera duties, I really started to have fun. All too soon it was time to head home, so we buzzed by my neighborhood in Corvallis and turned back to the north to head back to Salem. We were cleared to enter a left downwind for runway 31. Gary did a cruise descent, and the little bird really showed her stuff as the airspeed crept up to 160. The air seemed to be bumpier than when we left. There had been a Falcon jet doing practice approaches on 31, and he must have really stirred things up, because it was severely bumpy on final. But Gary handled the problem with little effort, even when the tower unexpectedly told us to land long because of incoming traffic.
Falcon 314 Alpha Mike on final for 3-1 request option. Falcon 4 Alpha Mike, continue, expect landing clearance momentarily.
Smile for the camera. That was great. Well, that was a lot of fun.
I had a good time. Did you?
I really enjoyed that.
Well, we'll do it again. Come up the last. Grab the back here where these struts are. There's a handhold on each side. Right here. On the other side, right here and here. I'll just kind of swing the tail around. Here, the corner of the door here. this hanger, the guy built it, the door's got a brace for it because it's, and I use the ladder, I gotta use the ladder. It's a homemade door, side fold. It works good.